I'm here in Cairo. Time for our news bulletin. I'm Maizi Rabia, and we'll start with a look at the headlines. Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received on Monday Jordanian King Abdullah II. The two leaders held a close bilateral session of talks, followed by an expanded session with the participation of the delegations of the two countries. The official spokesman for the presidency said the talks addressed regional conditions and the efforts to coordinate positions, especially with regard to developments in the Palestinian territories, where the two leaders stressed the need for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and a flow of humanitarian aid without restrictions or conditions. The talks also tackled the developments in Syria, especially with Egypt and Jordan's membership in the Arab Liaison Committee on Syria that was formed following Saturday's Aqaba International meeting. Egypt strongly condemned Israel's plans to expand its illegal settlements in the occupied Syrian Golan Heights. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the Israeli plan was a violation of the Syrian sovereignty and integrity of its territories. The statement called on the concerned international parties, including the UN Security Council, to shoulder the responsibility and end the Israeli illegal settlement activities. Earlier on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that his government approved a plan to expand Israeli settlements in the occupied Golan Heights. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates condemned the Israeli government's plan to build settlements and bring about demographic changes in the occupied Golan Heights. The United Arab Emirates described the decision as a deliberate effort to expand the occupation. Several Arab countries have also condemned Israel's seizure of the buffer zone since the departure of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad on the 8th of December. Israel occupied most of the strategic Golan Heights in 1967 and annexed it in 1981. Last week, it has also occupied a demilitarized zone inside Syria that was created after the 1973 war, including the Syrian side of the strategic Mount el-Sheikh that overlooks Damascus. For its part, Turkey condemned the Israeli plan to expand settlements in the occupied Golan Heights. A Turkish Foreign Ministry statement said on Monday that the Israeli decision to build settlements in the Golan Heights marked a new stage in the Israeli goal of expanding its borders through occupation, adding that Ankara was concerned that the move would harm the efforts to establish peace and stability in Syria. The EU said it is sending an envoy to talk to the new rulers in Syria on Monday. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas told journalists ahead of a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels that the meeting would discuss how to engage with the new leadership of Syria and on what level. The outreach from Brussels comes after the United States and Britain said they had made contact with the new authorities in Damascus to spearhead by the group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. The international players have expressed cautious optimism as the nascent authorities in Damascus have vowed to protect the minorities and to form an inclusive government following their lightning offensive that ended 5 decades of al-Assad's family's rule. The Kremlin on Monday said that the fate of Russian military bases in Syria following the political changes in the country was still unclear, with no final decisions on them so far. The Tartus naval base and Hamaim air base are Russia's only military outposts outside the former Soviet Union and have been key to the Kremlin's activities in Africa and the Middle East. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters on Monday that Moscow is in contact with representatives of the forces that now control the situation in the country. Russia said on Sunday it had evacuated some of its diplomatic staff from the country. A Syrian war monitor said early Monday that the Israeli strikes had targeted former Syrian army sites in Syria's coast in the most violent strikes in the region since the beginning of the Israeli strikes in 2012. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that Israeli warplanes launched strikes targeting series of sites, including air defense units and surface-to-surface missile depot. The Israeli military declined to comment on the strikes. The observatory said that violent explosions were heard in the coastal city of Tartus as a result of the successive strikes and the flying of ground-to-ground missiles from the warehouses. Palestinian medics said on Monday an Israeli air attack killed at least 10 people across the Gaza Strip overnight. This comes as mourners gathered for the funeral of some of the 53 Palestinian civilians who were killed in Israeli attacks yesterday, including a journalist and rescue workers. Ahmed Louh, a Palestinian video journalist, was killed in a strike on a point for the Civil Defense Agency in the central of Gaza camp of Nusayrat. Sunday's strike also killed 3 civil defense workers, including the local head of the agency. Israel's genocide war in the Gaza Strip left at least 40,028 Palestinians dead, according to the latest toll released by the Gaza health authorities. Russia's army said on Monday it had captured another village in eastern Ukraine, Donetsk region, where its troops were steadily advancing. The defense minister said in a statement that its forces had liberated the village that lies around 10 kilometers south of Kwarakov, a resource-rich town the Russian troops were also trying to seize. With more manpower and weapons, Russia's army has been grinding through the eastern Donetsk region in 2024. Russia has also claimed in recent weeks to have advanced in western Kursk region, where Ukraine launched a surprise offensive in the summer. Ukraine said on Monday its troops had killed or wounded at least 30 North Korean soldiers who had been deployed by the Russians to fight in Kursk. South Korea's Constitutional Court today began reviewing the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his December 3rd martial law proclamation. The court will hold the first public hearing on the 27th of December. After the court's 6 justices met to discuss plans for reviewing the impeachment by the opposition-controlled parliament on Sunday, the court has up to 6 months to decide whether to remove Yoon from office or reinstate him. Yoon and a number of senior officials also face potential charges of insurrection for the short-lived martial law. Minister of Foreign Migration and Egyptian Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdelghati stressed Egypt's keen interest to deepen the political and economic cooperation with the European Union. Egypt's top diplomat reiterated the significance of promoting the investment and trade cooperation levels in line with the momentum witnessed in the political relations between Egypt and the EU. Foreign Minister Abdelghati made these remarks in a phone call with the European Commissioner for Mediterranean Affairs, Dubravka Suica, which focused on means to enhance bilateral ties. Abdelghati also stressed the importance of implementing the outcomes of the Egypt-EU Investment Conference, which was hosted by Cairo last June and witnessed the signing of 29 joint agreements worth nearly 49 billion euros. Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transportation Kamil El-Wazir chaired the meeting to review the latest developments regarding the establishment of an integrated industrial complex at Al Ain al-Sukhna region. During a meeting with the chairman of the General Authority of the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Walid Gamal-Eddin, El-Wazir said that the project will be carried out with total investment of $1.65 billion. El-Wazir also presented the executive steps to implement the mega project, which will include 9 factories and will be carried out in 2 phases over 5 years period. Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation, Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, opened a World Bank Group workshop on a unified guarantee platform aiming at enhancing the foreign direct investments to Egypt. Al-Mashat said that the World Bank's new unified guarantee platform offers new financing tools and non-traditional guarantees for public and private sectors. The World Bank announced the guarantee platform at the G20 meeting in Brazil with the aim of expanding the participation of the private sector in developing projects. Egypt's boost indices fluctuated at midday trading today amid more than 5% decline in some blue chips, which the promotion of the stock market administration to hold the dealings for half an hour. The average market transactions exceeded 2.1 billion Egyptian pounds in 2 hours. The benchmark index slipped 0.09% near the 30,750 point mark, while the equal weighted indices EGX 70 and EGX 100 rose 0.06% and 0.01% respectively. Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of our news bulletin. I'm Maizi Rabia. Many thanks for watching.